Hey guys, welcome to another FIDE World Cup game of 2019. This game was played between Duda and Xiong Jeffery. Duda is a Polish GM with a FIDE rating of 2730, and he is just 21 years of age, and he's an amazing player. Jeffery Xiong is a US Grandmaster, just 18 years of age with FIDE rating of 2707. And I mean, look at these guys. They cannot even buy a beer when they go to a club or a pub or something, but these guys are grandmasters. That's pretty amazing stuff. So Duda opens with a3, and this is the Anderson's opening. Duda probably opens this because I mean he thinks that Jeffery is not prepared, but Jeffery has had an amazing tournament so far. He responds with g6, trying to fianchetto the bishop on this long diagonal because this bishop is an important piece usually in such openings. We have e4, c5, knight to c3, bishop to g7, just like fianchettoing the bishop, bishop to c4, developing moves, knight to c6, d3, and knight to f6. These are all developing moves, pretty standard moves. They have all been played before. Bishop to g5, trying to pin the knight once this e-pawn moves, and d6. Playing it safe, opening up the bishop's diagonal here, which is pretty important. Knight g to e2, now trying to get this knight all the way here, or it can also try to defend if you want to push e4, or if you want to push d4, it can defend either of those. So knight b to d7. This is a new move from this position because this position has never been reached before, and after this it's a pretty new game for both of these guys. Now queen to d2. Now the plan here is to put your bishop on h6 and just get rid of this excellent, this wonderful black or dark square bishop that the black piece has. So h6, immediately stopping this plan and asking, what do you want to do with this piece? Bishop goes back, bishop to h4, knight to d4 now. Just getting your knight into the queen's position. The white king has not castled yet, so you know it's a pretty tricky situation. Knight takes d4, c takes d4. This also attacks the knight, and now knight to e2. Again attacking this knight, asking how do you want to defend it. Queen to b6, now defending this pawn, and now bishop to b3, just getting out of the way. It's probably that Duda says I'm going to push my c-pawn now, or at least push it to c3 and try to attack this pawn. We have rook to c8, going after this attack, because once he pushes, either you're going to catch it en passant, or once you capture, you will have another attacker on the c file. And if the c file opens, it is always better to have a rook on the open file. h3, just stopping any plans of pushing either the knight to g4 or the bishop to g4. I mean, either of these moves could be a great threat to white's position. a5, a4, just stopping advancement of the black pawn, and bishop to c6. Now putting the bishop on this excellent diagonal. Depending on where the king castles, either here or here, it's unlikely that the king is going to castle long side. He'll probably castle on the short side. Like I said, it castles. Now knight to d7. f4, asking, I'm going to push my pawns now, what are you going to do with yours? Because look at this pawn is blocking this diagonal, and once this pawn moves, the king could be in threat. But Duda says that's not a problem. Knight to c5, now attacking both these pawns, and these sacrifices are pretty common. I mean, if you can imagine one of this piece being gone, especially this one on the e file, and then once you capture, you can push the pawn with the check, and you can also pick up this knight here. So bishop to c4, none of that is going to happen is what Duda says. And now knight captures on a4. When he played knight to c5, this also attacked the bishop and this pawn here. So this was a pretty good move. This knight attacking 4 different pieces was pretty great. Bishop to c4, defending this, and now knight captures on a4. It's a free piece, so Jeffery says I'm going to grab it. e5, attacking the pawn here on d6, and now knight takes b2, grabbing another pawn. Immediately Duda retreats its bishop and trapping the knight, because the knight cannot go anywhere. It cannot capture this piece, nor can it go here or here. I mean, it's all attacked. So for the moment, knight is in a jail. So we'll see how he gets out, or if he does get out at all. Now a4, attacking this bishop. Bishop to a2, queen to c5. Bishop to f2, putting more pressure on this diagonal, and now d takes e5. Finally, the tension in the center is going to be relieved with d takes e5, f takes e5, bishop takes e5, and now bishop takes f7 with check. There is so much poison in this position. Let's see what happens if you capture this bishop. If you capture this bishop with king takes f7, then you get bishop takes d4 with the check. It's a discovered check from the rook, and now you're going to lose the queen. So it would be a bad move to capture this bishop. And Jeffery knew this because he's a grandmaster, so he did not capture the bishop. He instead played king to d7. Now knight to f4, rook c to f8. Now trying to put more pressure on this bishop. This bishop is a pain in the black's position if it stays here for long. So he just wants to get rid of it. And if you move the bishop, if you just capture the piece, 2 pieces are attacking this. The bishop is attacking, the rook is indirectly attacking, and you will lose this wonderful knight that you have. So bishop to e6 check. Knight to king to e8, and now knight captures g6. Again, this is a powerful position. It's a very important position for you guys to pause the video if you feel so, and just find the correct move. I mean, black can continue this position here, and he can continue to hold a draw from this position, but there is only one move that can hold a draw. It's an amazing engine line, so don't blame yourself if you don't find it. But if you do, and if you found this, then you just are an amazing player, and kudos to you. The position is rook. The position that was played was rook to f6, but actually the interesting position is rook h to g8. And why is this so interesting? If white now decides to capture this rook, because it's an interesting rook, and why not capture it? You're getting a major piece for a minor knight, but this would be a great blunder because this is now mate in 3. So again, I want you guys to pause the video and try to find the mate in 3. It should be pretty easy, but sometimes, the obvious lines, we won't be able to find it. I'm going to show it to you. The move here is rook takes g2, and this rook is now protected. There is nothing you can do to capture it. So now the only move is moving the king to h1. The rook now goes back, and you get a discovered check, and you don't have from the bishop, and you don't have any positions to move your king. All these squares around it are captured or attacked. The only possible defense here is moving the bishop to d5, and now the queen delivers a checkmate. There is nothing for you to do here. So there was a lot of poison in that position, but none of that was played, and Jeffery Xiong played rook to f6, and this was the position where he got a lot of advantage. When I said that rook h to g8 was the correct move, I'm going to show you a continuation which leads to a draw, and that was queen takes h6. Now bishop takes g2, rook a to e1, bishop takes f1, bishop takes g8, rook takes g8, king takes f1, and now bishop to f6. If you look at this position, both sides have one bishop, one knight, one queen, and one rook, and it's all equal. Even though black has an extra pawn, but white has a pretty nice passed pawn. You're going to put your knight here, and there's nothing black can do, and this game can continue from here. But rook to f6 was played, which is what gave white a lot of advantage, and then the next piece that follows is just pretty amazing. Knight takes e5, we have queen takes e5, rook a to e1, now attacking the queen, indirectly defending it, queen to d6, and queen to a5. This queen to a5 is such a brilliant move. I mean, you would think that I'm attacking this bishop twice, it's only being defended once. What happens if I capture it? Well, let's see what happens. If rook captures e6, then rook captures e6, queen captures e6, and now queen to a8 check. This is what you had to find, and king to d7. Now the only option is you have to move the king, because I mean you can block it with the queen and then you're going to lose a queen. That doesn't make sense. So you move the king, and now you get queen captures on h8. You lose another rook, and now look at this diagonal that the queen is attacking. You're going to get queen captures on d4 with check, and there's nothing you can do. I mean, you can try to defend it, but once the queens are off the board and the bishop captures here, bishop is again attacking this piece, and this piece, like I said, cannot move anywhere because all its positions are covered. So the grandmasters calculated this precisely, and after queen to a5 we have rook h to f8, just doubling up the rooks and just getting the rook into the game, just getting them closer. Queen to h5 check, king to d8, queen to a5 check, king to e8, just repeating a couple of moves, queen to a8 check, queen to d8, now blocking. Now we have trade of queens, and queens are off the board. Queen takes d8 check, king takes d8, bishop takes d4, rook takes f1 with check, rook takes f1, rook takes f1 with another check, and king takes f1, and now a3. And if you count the pawns, white has 1, 2, 3, 4 pawns, and so does black, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But this passed pawn is pretty awesome. I mean, you think it is going to queen up pretty soon, but because of these two bishop pairs and that white has, and this black having a knight which is an immovable knight, it really cannot do anything. It cannot go anywhere except this d1 square. This is the only square it has now to move. But once the king occupies one of these squares, even that square will be gone. So bishop to c5, proactively attacking this passed pawn. It's pretty crazy. I mean, this pawn is now attacked and there is no real way to defend it. Knight to d1, trying to get the knight into the game, but how are you going to get it? Because the only option is through knight to c3, but will he be able to do it? We'll see. g4, bishop to a4, king to e1, and now bishop captures c2. King to d2, now attacking both the pieces, and bishop to a4, bishop back, just defending this. Now you might think that everything is defended, but look at the position here. These two bishops, white's bishops, are free to move. This knight cannot go anywhere. I mean, if it tries to move, the bishop is just going to capture it, and this bishop, also the black's bishop, light square bishop, cannot move anywhere because it has to keep an eye on this knight. So these two minor pieces are stuck in this game forever, and this is just a losing position for black. But the game still continued. h4, king to e8, g5, h captures g5, h captures g5, king to f8, and bishop to d4. Look at this wonderful bishop. It covers all the squares that are needed. This bishop is covering all the squares. This bishop covers all of these squares. This king can never enter into the game. I mean, it has to go a long way if it wants to be even close to not that close to entering into the game. And there is nothing you can do to stop this. You have to give up. You have to give up a piece. So this was the final position on the board, because Jeffery Xiong calculated all of this precisely, and he said it's not worth grinding out. But we can show you what happens. What happens with the black if he tries to grind it out. You have to give up one of the pieces if you want to get back into the game. So bishop to e8 has to be played. You have to keep an eye on these queening squares. This pawn is pretty awesome, and these two bishops are doing an amazing job of controlling all the squares. So king captures d1, bishop to f7, now attacking this piece, trying to say, okay, let's get these pieces off the board, and then once I capture, then we can play for it. But obviously white is not going to fall for any such traps. None of that was played, and bishop to f5, that is what was played in the would have been played in the game. King to e8, king to c2. Now all the king has to do is go up the board, and not here, but through here, and just grab the pawn. This bishop is doing a great job defending the queening square. There is nothing black can do here, and it's a slow death for black. You will see in the game. Bishop to g8. There's nothing he can do. Just make bishop moves. g6, bishop to a2, g7, even pushing it further, bishop to g8, king to c3. Now finally the king is ready to capture the pawns. e6, trying to get some counterplay, bishop to g6 check, king to d7, bishop to e5, b5, bishop to e4, king to e7, king to b3, b4, and after b4, king takes b4, a2. Now you have to keep pushing, but there's nothing you can do because this queening square is perfectly guarded, and these two bishops do a great job. There's nothing black can do here. King to b5. Now you're going to take the king up the board, or just go here and now grab this pawn. There is nothing black can do. He can just wait and watch. King to d7, king to c5, king to e7, king to c6, king to d8, king to d6, king to e8, bishop f3, king to d8. Finally the bishop is ready now. Bishop to g4, and it's going to come here and capture this pawn. King to e8, bishop captures c6, bishop captures c6, king captures c6, king to d8, and now you don't even have to go after this pawn. It's just you promote g8 pawn to a queen, and this is checkmate. Jeffery Xiong saw all of this, and back at this position. This is the last position that was on the board, and he calculated it precisely and said, I'm not going to survive this, so he just resigned the game. Amazing game. Jeffery eventually went on to beat Duda in another match, and he qualified for the World Cup quarterfinals, which was a very interesting upset, if you might call it, and I'm looking forward to what happens in the quarterfinals. So this is all from the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please let me know if you have any questions, comments or concerns in the comment section below. If you guys have any games that you want me to review and just show it to everybody, let me know, send it to me. I'll put my email address in the description, so you can just share the PNGs with me. I will check those games out, and if one of them stands out, I'll definitely put it on my channel. Well, thank you so much for watching. Namaste. I hope to see you soon.